My personal ick is watching someone like chase after a quarter that they dropped and it's like rolling away, and I'm like,
I don't get that. I get an ick from people that generally say that.
We are approaching the 150th episode of Middle Ground, and we need your help to continue making more episodes. Join our Middle Ground Patreon and help us make Middle Ground.
I'd rather be popular than be an A+ student. Can the agreeers step forward?
I had always been like a straight A kid, 4.0. And then I got to high school, and then I realized students don't care about that. Like, they care like how you look. And I have always had like self-esteem problems, and I'm diagnosed with general anxiety disorder, and I'm diagnosed with clinical depression. And it's like a really big thing to like have people care about me. And I've realized that I'd rather have 10 people like me and have 8 people compliment me every day, and I'd rather hang out with these people instead of study. That's such like a bad like quality to have, and I know it's like not something anybody should be proud of, but it is a real thing, and it is like my life, and it is something that I have struggled with.
My whole life up until like sophomore year of high school, when we came out of quarantine, like came back to school, I was like straight A student, like putting a whole bunch of time into school. And I realized, like, I think for me, what will make me look back on my life and be like, I enjoyed it, is not, I was valedictorian in my class and then got into whatever college I wanted to in order to study for the next 4 years, then get a master's and PhD. I want to interact with people, and I want to have a good time with people. And I think having fun is, in my view, always going to be more important than grades.
Well, I think it's just like what kind of like gives you meaning. Like I know like I'm pretty dependent on my friends. Like I value like my friendships and the connections I make over my like academics, but that doesn't mean that I don't hold my academics to a high value and I don't try.
Yeah, like when I first came back from quarantine, like I wanted to hang out with my friends. I wanted to see them. I wanted to keep that like connection. But like as I got older, honestly, like I don't care. Like I do want straight A's.
Can the disagreeers please step forward?
The mentality that I have grown up with since I was really young was school in general, like right now, isn't supposed to be fun. Isn't supposed to be like a time to enjoy yourself. You can enjoy yourself, but it's supposed to be a focus on the 4 years of your life that'll change the trajectory of your entire life. So yeah, I'd rather have all A's, because I definitely am struggling with that right now. Typical Asian kid.
I just want to say like my parents are both Persian, like immigrants. And so like academics was kind of like ingrained in me that like this should be my priority constantly, and it still is. But it's kind of just this like underlying like stress. Like I wish that could just go away. But I mean it is really important. Like I think that this time in like high school, like not only does it help you develop like your identity and how you interact with others and like how social you are, but I think it also like really trying in academics and trying in school like develops that work ethic that you need for the future.
The way I think of it is like, would I really put all my eggs into the basket of being popular? Why should I be so caught up on what other people think of me when I can perfect myself, when I can try my hardest to be as smart as I can?
I think you can be smart and not have straight A's.
Yeah, I agree too.
Having straight A's isn't even about how smart you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how hardworking you are.
Yeah.
But I also feel like as long as you're trying, it's not really that hard.
But at the same time, I feel like there are kids that do try their best, and the best they can get is like a C+. Like
Yeah.
If you're saying that like you just want to be popular instead of having like A's, in my opinion, that's kind of sad. Like, why are you thinking that you need to be this person who's thinking about everyone, who wants everyone to like them, who wants to be liked by everyone, when you can focus on yourself for your future?
Sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
It's a self-esteem thing. I value other people's opinions more than my own, which is so sad. Like at the end of the day, I am my own person. I should be able to make decisions for myself. But then I had to come to terms with the fact that I make decisions for other people, and I need to stop. And it's really hard to stop doing that.
It's really amazing that you can recognize
Yeah,
that.
I think that's like the first steps towards like being comfortable with that.
Hey, you all right?
Yeah, just been in a funk lately. Hoping some good thoughts can travel to my head this way.
All right. Not trying to knock your methods, but have you tried talking to anybody?
Not yet. I'm just really overwhelmed by the thought of trying to find a therapist.
Yeah, I've been there. It's tough. You should check out BetterHelp, the sponsor of today's video. With BetterHelp, finding a therapist is easy, regardless of limited options in your area, so you can get the proper help that you need. And it's super convenient because it's online and remote.
Oh, nice. I just filled out a few questions and it says I'll be matched with a professional therapist in as little as a few days.
Whether you're going through a hard time or you have a clinical mental health issue you want to address, therapy can give you some great tools to approach life in a different way. So, if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. To get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp, click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Jubilee Media.
Thank you to BetterHelp for supporting this channel. Now let's get back to the video.
I don't know, I think you were onto something here. Maddie, how do I get up? Guys?
There is a strategy to becoming popular.
There's not like a code you put in and you're like, okay, this is how I become popular, but I feel like being social can make you like more popular. Being in sports makes you more popular. Like there are certain things you can do that can get your like social status boosted. Like all throughout middle school, elementary school, I was just Morgan. Then I joined leadership and I went up to the principal, I was like, hey, can I do morning announcements? And I think that continued to like high school because I joined leadership again, I joined cheer. Like I feel like if I didn't do those things, like no one would really like know. Like I would still might be known because I'm really social and I try to talk to people, but at the same time, I feel like if I didn't do those things, it would be a lot harder. So.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between being naturally popular, like being naturally funny, like being social, and like artificially popular. Like you want to be popular. You go out of your way to want to be popular, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have to follow a strategy for that. You can change the way you look. I think you can change your personality. You can be a completely different person. You can conform to like how other people want you to be. Yeah. You can be how everyone else is. You can follow, like.
Yeah. If you're not naturally wanting to be social, not naturally wanting to be like just talking to a lot of people, then I don't see the point of it. Like, you can see popularity as something to like have a strategy towards, but then like you're not really being who you want to be.
I do agree that like there's a difference between like being just someone who's like social, so like you just like kind of naturally have that like popular aspect and that people like you or people know you, but I don't see it as like a strategy. Like it's like we're viewing popularity as something that you can just like you just like reach, like, oh, now I'm popular and now I'm not.
Yeah, it's not like the movies, how there's like, oh, Regina George, like the whole school's like, oh my gosh, Regina, like it's never like that. I've never thought there was a strategy. Like I'm just myself, like I talk to a lot of people, I'm really social.
Do you think people who aren't popular can become popular over time?
Yeah, I think all you have to do, like honestly, join football, join cheer.
But wouldn't that be a strategy?
That's a strategy?
Yeah. That's a strategy.
I mean, it is.
At my school, I think popularity has always been more about just like, are you a likable person and not
Which
like.
is a strategy. Like if you're like being likable, like being nice to people can be like seen as a strategy.
You could be naturally likable
like,
though.
can you train yourself to
I
be
think
more likable?
also I think like if you're gonna be a person who's very outgoing, I think that's just who you are, right? Like I am a person who I think I would feel very uncomfortable. Like I could definitely try, but I think I would just feel uncomfortable being outgoing with people.
We're like talking as if like an unpopular person is like inherently not likable or they're not
Exactly.
like or they're not social. Like the way of measuring is like skewed. Like it's not fully accurate.
Yeah.
I think we also are moving away from popular being like the popular discussed in like, I don't know, Disney Channel or
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
or like
Yeah.
in movies. We're trying to really move away from that. Popular doesn't really look like that anymore. No one really like talks to your face or anything. It's a lot different from than when we were growing up watching movies versus
I
how we're
agree.
actually experiencing it.
It's like also interesting that like you guys label like yourselves like unpopular, whereas like I still think you guys are extremely likable and like there's no set definition or like a box that we can like put people in as like popular, unpopular. I don't think that it's like a real thing.
You have to be good looking to be popular. A great social media presence is important to be popular.
I think personally, like it doesn't matter, but a lot of people will kind of be like, oh my gosh, you're like TikTok famous or you have followers on Instagram. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people will want to be in your bubble.
My friends, at the end of the day, like they're more like popular than me.
Yeah.
And like, whenever I post like something on my Instagram, like with all of us, the story gets way more likes. These are my best friends, and at the end of the day, I only love them because like who they are. But let's post with each other more. Let's take more pictures. Let's let everyone know that we're together, so like more people like my story and more people swipe up and say things.
Yeah, like if I didn't get 5,000 views, I would take it down. If I didn't go viral every single day, I'd literally be on the phone with my best friend like, I'm flopping, I'm in my flop era. Like, I'd be so sad.
Without social media, which probably honestly would be way better for like my mental health and like just everything. But I feel like without it, I would still be known, because at the end of the day, like I've said, I'm still a cheerleader, I'm still in all these programs, I still like am very social, and without social media, they'd still know, oh yeah, that's Maureen, because at the end of the day, it's not social media, it's me.
When it comes to like TikTok famous, like I don't see that as like popularity. I see that as more like fame. I have like 1,500 Instagram followers. I'm not like an influencer though.
Yeah.
Like I don't have 1,500 friends. Like I post like maybe like twice a year. It's more just like so people like know what I look like if they search up my name. Like I don't put much thought into like my social media presence. And I don't think that it would make like that big of an effect versus like the friends that I actually have.
I think there's popular people at school that can have little to no like social media presence. And then at the end of the ladder, there's unpopular people who can have thousands of followers. Like, it all comes down to like how you want to be presented to everyone versus just school, just outside of school, TikTok. You know what I mean?
I feel like the unpopular person that has more followers, in my opinion, I feel like at least like at their school, they'd be like more well known, because like, oh, that kid has like a ton of followers. Like, oh yeah, I know who that is. I know that like at the end of the day, your followers aren't everything, but like in high school, it's like, oh, I know who that is. Like, oh, I want to be friends with them, because like if I'm friends with them, like I'll get clout too, like stuff like that. So
that's interesting you say that, because I feel like if I'm like looking at Instagram and I see like a random kid with like 4,000 followers, like that's all like bots. Like that's not like cool to me, or like it's just like what like.
Having sex makes you more popular.
I remember the situation in 8th grade where there was this girl that apparently like did it, and everyone was like, wow, oh my gosh. It was like a big thing. I don't really think it's a good way to become popular, but yeah, I guess if your goal was to be talked about, you're being talked about.
I think it does make you more popular, especially since you're young. People will talk about you doing it. You'll get more well-known. People will want to have it with you. People will go against it, stuff like that. People will just talk about it.
At my school, it's actually like ew. Like a lot of people get like slut shamed and like picked on. Like it's not like really a good like thing.
people are just so quick to like slut shame people, even if it's like barely anything.
Exactly, yeah.
Like with like teenagers, like I think that it's like a pretty like natural thing, but I don't think that it like correlates to like popularity in any way. Like by doing that, like in my experience and like what I see, like I don't think that it makes someone more popular or less popular.
What I think is popular, you're known, like you're talked about.
Yeah.
So I think when you're having sex and people are talking about you, you're popular for that reason. You know what I mean?
You made a good point, actually. I agree with you. Like I think it's like, it'll be like in gossip, or like people like maybe a rumor, or like people like question about it, or for like relationships, stuff like that. But like, yeah, so I agree with you.
I have roasted someone based on something they wore.
I mean, like never seriously. Like I'm
Never like.
It sounds terrible.
I'm not gonna go up to like a random person and be like, "Why are you wearing that?" Like that's rude. But like with my like close friends, I'll like make a joke.
I mean, I've talked like with my friends. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like what's going on today? Like today must be a little rough day. Like, cause some people at my school be looking wild. Like some girls will come and they'll have like some shirts right here. I'm like, where's the dress code? Like they'll just be looking wild, like with pajamas too. I'm just like, all right.
I feel like girls are like different because they will roast you to your face, but you won't know. Like say like someone was wearing like the most outrageous outfit, like me and my friends, you go up to you and be like, wow, you look so good. Like literally, where'd you get that outfit from? And then you'd say wherever you got it from, and we'd look at each other and be like, okay, and then we'd walk away and then we'd talk about it in private. Like it's just more fake.
So I have this memory from like a while ago. I showed up to my Temple's like Halloween event in like a strawberry shortcake outfit. I didn't look the best, but I was like trying to put myself out there. And one of my like closest friends, like she comes up to me and then she like, she goes like, what the hell is that? What are you wearing? It really, really hurt me. And ever since then, I kind of just stopped doing that.
Like I've been in similar situations where, you know, I've just struggled with like depression and stuff. And when you're going through that, it's so hard to like even get up in the morning and like to then be like, all right, I'm going to pick out which clothes I'm gonna wear and like this is how I want to look. So I did not dress very well, and there were definitely a lot of times people would, you know, make fun of me, whether it's my friends or like other people. So for me, it's just like always been like I try not to really say too much about their appearance or anything like that, just because like I'd rather just not do it at all than risk, you know, putting someone in a situation where they're gonna feel bad about themselves.
I mean, I feel like it's like being considerate of like who you're around and like who you're doing it to. Like my friends, like, or we make fun of each other. That's part of like our interactions and our humor. So like I'll like make like jokes to them like if I feel like it, but it's never like with like malicious like intent.
Yeah, I think for me, even when my friends are doing it and like I know they don't mean it right, it can still affect you. Yeah. It's easy to get in the mindset of like, oh, I need to dress a certain way so my friends don't make fun of me.
I feel like if you don't want to get made fun of or get picked on, like with like clothes-wise, just wear like the most basicest thing ever, like just plain black, plain, like just don't try too hard.
For me, I think like if you dress how you dress, just dress how you dress, and I think people are gonna make fun of you, but like personally, I think people should try to limit how much they do it, even in like friendships or social circles, because like at the end of the day, you don't know.
I'm curious, if you've been roasted before, then why are you still doing it even now as a joke?
I don't really get affected by like someone telling me that like I look stupid. Like we need to like stop like caring about so much about like what like other people think that like you're wearing. Like it's just not that deep.
Like, you know, if some people come to school and they feel like the most comfortable in like a suit, I'm like, okay, go you, I guess. Go do that.
Being queer is trendy. Okay, then can all the disagreeers please step forward and tell me what's problematic with this prompt?
It's definitely not a trend. I think
it's not a trend.
I think it's just more that like it now has a lot more visibility. Like I feel like a lot more people know that it's like an option, and they go, oh yeah, I feel like I identify with that, you know?
Especially like when like all these like topics are like so prevalent on like TikTok and social media, like it's like inevitable that we're gonna have like questioning and confusion and like wanting to like find yourself or experiment. And like I think that that's like healthy like to an extent, just to like it's a time to like find yourself.
In middle school, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of did think like a lot of people just start doing this. So this one girl moved from Florida, and she started saying like, oh, I'm bi. 30 other girls start saying they're bi, and I was like, a few months ago, y'all was being a little homophobic. What happened? Like, what's going on here?
I think that goes back into being like, you're trying to experiment. You're trying to like see what like label really does fit you. I know for me, I've tried out like a bunch of different like sets of pronouns for like ages. But I just went back to she, her, because honestly, it was just a matter of me trying to figure out what felt right for me.
Some kids in my school give me the ick.
Let me just
right here.
I mean, I feel like everyone gets bothered by something that someone did. Is weird. Like I'm probably 10,000 people's ick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like a universal thing. Everyone's gonna get weirded out by someone or like annoyed. That's natural. Mine's like not serious. I can't stand jorts. They drive me insane.
Oh my God, just the word jorts.
Like I don't. Sorry. Like no. Like maybe it's just because I will never look good in them. But like it's now it's like trendy and it like bothers me.
I have like 3 coming to my house like in 2 days.
Oh my God.
I guess one thing I have is like people who like try and be like super like trendy almost, like this is everything online, I'm gonna be that, right? Like to me that's just a little bit like extra, you know.
My personal ick is watching someone like chase after a quarter that they dropped and it's like rolling away, and I'm like, that's really embarrassing for you. Like,
I think small things like that, like the quarter running away, I don't get that, and I'm like, it's people just being human. I get an ick from people that generally say that, so yeah, I guess I just like people that comment on small things like that, just people being people.
I hate when people like will post a birthday post for someone and it's like an essay, and it's like,
Yeah, I hate
like,
that.
why don't you just
Guys, why are you calling me
I hate
out?
that.
like, why don't you just
Only
text
for my
the
best
person
friend.
that?
Yeah,
Why do we all have to read this like
Yeah, I
do
paragraph
both.
essay? Like,
Or when they
honestly,
post their mom
Oh,
or
I don't
something,
do
or
all
like
that.
a parent that doesn't follow them, obviously, they're like, you've done all this. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care.
I ain't reading all that.
It's important to drink or do drugs to stay popular.
I'm kind of like, like, you know, like it's kind of like,
Same.
it's kind of like a.
I think important.
I'm gonna
is
just
the
sit
wrong
down
word.
and I'm
Yeah.
just explain, so I'm just sit down. I feel like a lot of like kids who do go out a lot, like smoke and drink, they also know a lot of people if they're like at these parties, like, you know, like they're having fun, good for them, I guess.
Yeah, if you want to be in that group that does that type of stuff, sure, go ahead. But it's not really prevalent in my school. No one's gonna do it, no one really does it.
Disagreeers?
Partying and doing drugs and smoking and all that stuff, yeah, do whatever you want, but I know at my school, it has a very negative effect. Like,
I would say like half of the people in my school like smoke weed is sort of the big thing. My school has also just started to like be very aware that it's a big issue. So if they see you, you're like suspended for a week. People still do it, and it's almost like the people who do it want to do it more now, because if you get away with it, it's a lot cooler now, because it's so much harder to get away with it. That like, if
what do you mean? Like
can't-
doing it at school or like?
Oh yeah.
At,
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like all day.
I think like this type of like these activities are kind of ingrained in like high school culture. Like it's like it's very normal, I'd say, among like teenagers. But like you can really tell when someone like wants people to know that they do it, or like the people that
Yeah.
post about it outwardly or like do stuff like that. Like that's weird.
You can't be popular and be disabled.
Wait.
I think it's possible if you're disabled to like have people who like you, but especially like when it comes to mental disabilities, it is significantly harder. I've known people who are like on the autism spectrum or have developmental disabilities. It's just like, it's gonna be so much harder for you to like have to fit in.
When you said autism, that like really, I think that like that made me remember. I had this really, really close friend in elementary school. She was on the spectrum, and she was bullied like ruthlessly. Like it was so bad, and no one really wanted to talk to her, and it was really just me and her every time we had recess. So yeah, it was definitely just hard for her to have friends and be liked, and let alone be popular.
At my school, there was this girl, and she was disabled. I don't know what she had, but she was definitely popular, I'd say. Like, everyone on school knew her. She would get invited to football games. She went to prom. She went to homecoming. So I wouldn't say you can't be disabled and be popular. Like,
Someone could be popular because they're a really cool person to hang out with. But I feel like in my experience, when there are people with mental disabilities who are popular, it's not really because people necessarily are like, I invite them to my house and we, you know, hang out. It's more so just everybody sort of has this understanding of like, they're going through something, so we're not gonna, we'll sort of uplift them so that way they feel more welcomed.
I think that's very true. Like where like if like somebody who like stands out for some reason, like whether that's like a disability or they have a huge scar or something, like they become part of your name. Like they are tied to like who you are.
I think the consensus is that, yeah, they can be popular, but everyone's really like infantilizing them. Like, oh, they're so cute. Look how they don't understand those comments that are like.
They're backhanded.
Yeah, they're really backhanded.
They are, yeah.
And so, yeah, they're popular, but definitely not positively.
Teens are mean.
I think teens are just naturally mean,
Yeah.
honestly, especially at this age when you're going through so many changes in your body and your life. I think it just kind of makes sense that we're mean.
So judgmental, too.
Yeah, we're
Everyone
really
is. Like, we all judge each
judgmental.
other. That's just the
That's just
truth.
being a human, honestly.
Yeah, and it's like you're learning right now, and it's like we have like a lot of mood swings, and like sometimes we might just come off as rude to others.
I like to think about like how like little kids, like you know how they're like so brutally honest that like, it's so mean. that still like kind of bleeds in, like to like
Yeah.
as teenagers. Like we're still growing.
Some of us don't try to be mean. Like we don't go out of our way to just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna be mean. But like I might like be having a great day and I might say one thing in the wrong tone and it just like ruins everybody's day. Like it's just the tone and like it's just like the way we say things.
My parents are always saying like you're so argumentative. Like I feel like I can never have a proper conversation with you. And it's like I'm really sorry. I don't mean to. Like, I love my parents. I never mean to be mean. It's just I think we just don't have control over that right now.
Yeah.
If you guys want to share any reflections you have on this or any last thoughts.
Obviously, like we realize how like stupid all of this is. Like popularity like isn't real. Like in reality, we're all just like teenagers like trying to get through high school.
Let's all hug it out. Bring it in, guys. Yay! Oh, we look so aesthetically and cute.
Hold on, let me take a picture.
Let's flick this up. Flick. Period. Yay!
That's what it's getting in middle school days.
Middle school.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you too.